So this video is brought to you by Dying Battery Packs. Hey guys, it's Siriusly from Bandursnatch Studios here. I am here to talk about some real cosplay basics, what we like to call cosplay with idiots, because we're idiots and if we can do it, then you can do it. What we're talking about today is choosing your first character to cosplay. This is probably one of the most common questions we get asked, either at a con itself or in comments or in Facebook messages. I'm going to compare the first time I chose a character to cosplay, 5 years ago now, which was Sirius Black, and then also going to compare the one that I'm currently in the middle of kind of choosing, I've kind of decided on, which is Isabella from Dragon Age. So 5 years ago, my priorities were, what character do I really like? And that, to be honest, hasn't changed. Sirius, I've been doing RP with Debbie, so writing roleplay with Debbie, with Sirius and Remus and the Marauders for about 10 years before I started cosplaying. So it's kind of natural we were choosing the Sirius and the Remus times. Because I knew I could get into the mindset of Sirius because I've been writing from his point of view for quite a long time. And so basically it meant that for me that was quite an easy one for me to get into. Isabella, on the other hand, has been a little bit harder. However, I have done a couple of casual cosplays of her, so literally just at Insomnia, for example, we had Cafe AU Dragon Age. Which was literally just a white shirt, my jeans, and an apron. And then lots of accessories and bits, because I kind of done a casual one of her before. So for me, I really enjoyed the character, and I knew I enjoyed doing the character. I enjoyed having a photo shoot with her. And so I kind of made the decision of, I enjoy this character, therefore I will also cosplay her as well. So she's currently one that I'm hopefully going to start soon. Another thing that I did when I first was choosing a character was obviously Sirius. The main thing for me was character, but also things like ease. How easy is it? Because I, at the time, couldn't sew. I'd never done cosplay before, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. But luckily I had Debbie to help me, and basically just kind of pointing me towards eBay and went, here you go, here is eBay. It is a good thing. I'd used eBay before, obviously, but not for cosplay things, because I'd never cosplayed before. But I literally went on eBay, I bought a Gryffindor die, I brought some Gryffindor robes, I went to Asda or a supermarket and bought a white male shirt. Done. I had some trousers that I wore for work that were grey. Done. However, then the robes came and they were slightly too big, so I wore them too big for a couple of cons, and then realised I should probably do something about that. But definitely when I first wore Sirius, he was just out of the box, done, kind of thing. For Isabella, I'm kind of more now going down the route of what's a challenge for me. And personally, body confidence is still something I'm working on. I'm quite confident now in terms of the stage and in terms of in front of a camera. But for me personally, body confidence is still something I'm still working on. And Isabella, if you don't know the character, wears a very sort of low cut top, she wears a very short skirt, and it's very much out of my comfort zone. However, I can adapt it so that I feel more comfortable in it. I know I already like the character, I know I can just play around in the character, so for me that will override the body confidence. Plus I have a couple of little tricks up my sleeve, like, oh, I don't know, dancer's tights and some nude shorts to wear underneath. Also, I mean, if I'm really having not a great day when I want to wear her, I'll just stick some leggings on. Doesn't really matter. Not super accurate really. For me, personal comfort will always come over the top of, hey, I look cool in that cosplay. But if I'm not having a good day, I'll just be comfy. Again, from experience, that's 5 years of experience talking there, because I've got into cosplay before sometimes and gone and got changed because I'm not feeling it. Another thing you can do, as I've already mentioned, as your first cosplay, is doing more of a casual cosplay. So Sirius at this point has got his school uniform, which obviously was the first one that he ever did. He also has a lot of casual outfits, so things like wearing a Marauders Matte t-shirt. I've worn it for Sirius before. Or wearing just a random t-shirt from Primark with some jeans. Cool. Maybe a wig if I'm feeling it, because right now Sirius needs a wig. But I have done casual versions obviously of him and of Isabella before, so I know that that's obviously another option that you can do as well if you're choosing a character for the first time, you're not entirely confident in your skills. Another thing that people do also struggle with is wigs. So you can obviously use your own hair if it works for the character. At the time, and right now, my hair does not work for Sirius. I have obviously used my own hair for Sirius for quite a few times, because I personally don't get on that well with wigs. Again, something you find out over time. But wigs are really easy to get hold of. You can just literally pop onto eBay or Amazon. Or also there are stores like Arda or Coscraft that will specifically cater to wigs. We personally quite like the Coscraft ones, because at least you know that you might spend a little bit more money, but you know that you're going to get a good quality wig that's really thick. And again, there's different tips to sort of get your hair under a wig and all that kind of stuff as well, which we've kind of gone into before. But again, it's something I'd never done before, so it was like, oh, I've never done this before. So Debbie was like, get a wig cap, put your hair in some plaits, stick it under the wig cap, and pin your wig in, essentially. So I did, and it worked. Never really had that many issues with wigs kind of slipping and stuff, because I think I was taught from very early on by another cosplayer of how to keep your wig in place. And obviously, if you've ever seen our Marauders panels, you know that we run around a lot. And we are just idiots in Marauders panels. So if I wear a wig for a Marauders panel, I have to pin right to the back of my head to make sure it won't go anywhere. But yeah, it's something else that some people obviously have issues with or have problems with. Again, it's just something that you'll get to know over time, whether you are one for wigs or not. But you don't have to wear a wig, you know, it's not a rule. Okay, so another thing I was thinking about as Sirius was about the fact that obviously I identify as female and he's very male, and obviously I have a chest that I would like to try and hide as much as possible. Again, I was very pleased that I had some good cosplay friends who did tell me to basically go and buy a binder. However, at that point I was A, skint, and B, I wasn't sure I was necessarily going to enjoy the cosplay thing. So I didn't wear a binder the first couple of times that I wore Sirius, because I didn't own one. However, I did go for the sports bra option, which luckily is an option for me, and which is still one I use now. The other banders are very jealous of me for this, because I can basically get away with it if I've got a few layers on top. I get away with not having a binder. Quite lucky, really. But again, it is another option that you can use. Also, things like body language do mean that you can make yourself appear a different gender by just using different body language, and we've got into that in our characterization panels if you've ever been to one of those. But again, it's something I learned over time. First time I wore Sirius, I was very girly and popped my hip and did lots of things that I don't do now. Because I end up doing them for the wrong characters, which is always fun. But Sirius is very flamboyant anyway, so I was more kind of embodying the character really for that, rather than going, this is necessarily like masculine, this is necessarily feminine. I was just having fun being the character. Which, to be fair, you're cosplaying, you know, the main thing is to have fun. Another thing I thought about was obviously makeup, because I have not done a lot of makeup at that point. I don't usually wear makeup day to day, so it's not something I've really done a lot of, and especially I had not done male makeup before to make my face look male. And it was again something I learnt from other cosplayers, watching tutorials on YouTube, that kind of thing, and just kind of going very basic with it. Just not putting eyeliner on my eyes and making sure my skin was covered up. That was about it. And to be honest, Sirius is an 18-year-old lad. doesn't really need much anyway, and I tend not to, even now when I do him, I tend not to wear a lot of makeup anyway. He's a very easy cosplay. Obviously compared to Isabella, who is very girl, and who I will probably do lots of dark eyeliner for, because all my characters seem to have lots of dark eyeliner if they're female. Bellatrix, Cassandra, Isabella, yay! Another thing I was thinking about when I first did Sirius was obviously money, because I didn't know if I was going to enjoy this hobby or not. 5 years later I'm still doing it. I think I enjoy it. But at the time I didn't know if I was going to enjoy it or not. So what I was looking for was something that wasn't too expensive, wasn't necessarily going to break the bank for the first time I was wearing a cosplay. So as I've already explained, I literally got a couple of bits off eBay, cost me maximum 20 quid. A shirt, like a shirt from Primark or Asda or somewhere, like a male shirt, which again was about 4 quid. And some trousers and boots that I already owned. So yeah, not investing a huge amount of money. And I went and bought a wig as well, which was a very cheap one from eBay, my first wig. Luke doesn't like my first wig. Whereas now, because I know that it's something that I enjoy, I'm willing to spend a little bit more money, but also I already have some stuff that I already own. So for example, I've got tall thigh-length boots for Cassandra that I'll probably use the same ones for Isabella, because she also has very similar boots. I also have leather left over from Cassandra making, I also have foam, I also have the power tools, so luckily I can do a lot of that from stuff I already own. And again, I know now where to go for things like fabric. So I go to my lovely Abercan store down the road, who I buy a lot of fabric from. And basically I know that I can go there and get some fabric fairly cheaply and sort of make that. But again, it's something that I've built up over time, and I've kind of built up supplies over time. But again, if you've got friends that are cosplayers, they can also help you out with that. I've had my friend Rebecca come round here to sort of use my power tools for Warbler stuff, because everyone knows I really enjoy it, and so I've got tools now that I can use. Obviously you're not going to have that when you first start, but don't be afraid to go along to, you know, I know there's a few places now that actually do sort of cosplay workshop type things in different cities. And if there's one sort of local to you, you can maybe go along to one of those and like use some of the tools, or use a sewing machine if you've got a friend that's got any of that kind of stuff. You know, ask if you can go along and sort of do like a little workshop day. So yeah, those kind of things are something that you can look at. And again, don't be afraid to try a new skill. That's sort of my main thing really from picking a character to cosplay. Choose a character that you know you're going to enjoy doing. Choose one maybe for you that's completely different from yourself. Because for me personally, that works best for me. Sirius was so out of my comfort zone. You know, I am not a loud person generally. Maybe a bit more now. But at the time I was quite shy. And didn't want to draw attention to myself necessarily. Sirius is completely opposite to that. And has actually influenced a lot of kind of, well, if I'm going to be big, you know, if I'm going to be a character, why not make it big? You know, there's a lot of my characters now that I choose, like Isabella, that I go, I'm just going to go ham, why not? What's the worst that's going to happen? But that's kind of just from confidence from doing it for a little while. But again, if you're looking to do a character, you want to be sort of in character or not, you know, you don't have to be in character, but it is helpful for things like photos. Because again, comparing when I first started cosplaying to now, I hated photos of myself. I hated being on a camera, I hated being on a stage. Yeah, a bit different now. Another thing that I had when I first started cosplaying was the lack of confidence to actually be around normies, people that obviously aren't in cosplay. When I first came out of the hotel in Watford in my cosplay and realised people were looking at me weird, that made me very self-conscious. And again, comparing it to now, where I'm just like, I'll be blue on the train, don't really care. People sometimes ask you questions and go, why are you blue? And I go, it's Smurf Day. My main sort of confidence on the day came from the fact that I was in a big group of people that were all into the Harry Potter studios. We were fine. And again, I was with other people at Cosplay before, so for us it made it a lot easier. But the main things to take away from choosing a character to cosplay: choose a character you like, choose something that might not cost you a huge amount of money necessarily first time you do it, just to see if you actually like it, because you don't want to be spending loads of money on a cosplay and then you don't really like it. Don't be afraid to buy bits and pieces for your cosplay, or buy a cosplay outright. You know, there's lots of sort of sites now that will sell like a full cosplay for you. Just depends on your character. More so for sort of maybe anime characters, for example, you can buy like a uniform, for example. And again, that's really good for a group, because it means that you're all going to be more united as a group because you all got the same thing. Look at the option of a wig. Look at the option of different makeup perhaps to try as well. And just sort of have a little think about if you already own anything that you could use for that character. Don't be scared to try it, because cosplaying is fun and you can do casual versions if you really want to. If you go to a con in that cosplay, or if you do a photo shoot in that cosplay, you're winning. The main things are just, you know, choose a character you would love to cosplay. Choose somebody that you would enjoy being in all day. Choose something that's relatively comfortable. You know, you don't want massive heels walking around a con all day. Not the best move. Trust me, I've done it. And again, you know, just be like, have fun with it. You know, cosplay is fun. It's putting a costume on and playing around in it. That's what cosplay is. Just have fun with it. And don't let anyone sort of tell you that you can't do something when you know you can. Try different skills. Try something new. Why not? But yeah, if you need any other tips or anything, you might want to ask any questions, feel free to pop us a comment below or send us a little message on Facebook. There's a big group of 6 of us. One of us idiots can answer it. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.